Alright, that is going to count as Whoop's own restart. And we're going to play the map that we have here. So let me just check I have now. Switch the scene and we're inside. And I can begin casting this one. I realised I hadn't switched the scene before because I was a bit hesitant. I was trying to figure out what was going on and what the players had done in terms of how they'd done those restarts, because no one said in the chat or anything like that. But whether it was originally his intention or not, Whoop now understands that he doesn't have a restart at this point, so that will count as a player restart. Right, so Celts War, this time on Desert Arabia, so pretty open, which means that it could be a slightly more aggressive and less boom friendly Celt War than it would be on the Green Arabia. Whoop on the left hand side over here in the blue, and VNS Yellow on the right hand side here in the red. Just going to look at this village, it could be potentially a little bit of danger. We did go to sheep block it, completely missed with the sheep, but fortunately the ball was completely glitched out trying to get around this tree as they sometimes do. Boar are not very good at going around corners. Yeah. But he's got his second boar in pretty easily, also pushing, well not pretty easily, but without it being stolen pretty early. Also pushing deer, so potentially looking for really fast feudal here. That might indicate that he's trying to do some sort of aggression. Really aggressive play. Meanwhile for Yellow, just getting in a second boar now. I'm going to be completely okay there with the boar trying to navigate its way around the corners of the shoreline of the oasis. So both players not losing their boar. But just take a look at some attempted sheep stealing going on here with aid of the Celt bonus. Just having a look at the maps of the players really quickly, because we're kind of starting to look at this game a bit later than we normally do. I've seen really nice backwood line. This second gold is pretty easy to get hold of, and maybe even to do some walling in front of. Main gold really nice close to the TC, although it is kind of vulnerable from the hillside, and third gold kind of out in the middle of nowhere could be a little bit difficult to get hold of later on. 2 stones in the back, but not really more wood to go to. This is pretty sizable, will last him a long time. But after that, like his far away ones are... That actually managed to Yellow killed those 2 sheep that were on the hillside. I was too busy looking at the minimap for looking for those wood lines, and probably flicked away just as that was happening, so apologies for that. But yeah, I was saying wood lines are pretty sparse in the terms of more distant ones for Whoop. Meanwhile Yellow, back wood, back stone, kind of back gold or to the side, really close to the TC. Wood again, like the 2 extra wood lines he's got are on the opposite side of Oasis, so not the greatest, but I think a bit better map for Yellow just because of the gold being more towards the back. He can pretty much just do some production buildings across the front, maybe even wall here later on, and be pretty safe. That of course is if he chooses not to just go forward as is his usual style. For the moment he's actually going to do a drush. Don't know if that's going to be drush into fast feudal or sticking around longer, but given that his food count and the number of villages that he's on, it could be more of a drush and then just more of a delayed feudal into either really heavy aggression or faster castle time. Both drushes going to meet each other now. Yellow not patrolling, whereas Whoop was, and also getting downhill hits, so that means that one militia will almost be dead already. But Yellow's scout is at least in the vicinity to help, but more free hits coming in on Yellow's militia, and his drush has turned into an absolute disaster. Unmitigated disaster here. Yellow just not patrolling twice. And all of his militia go down whilst Whoops all remain alive. Obviously some of them are damaged, but Yellow's scout almost completely dead as well, and that means that Whoop could go and cause some havoc in Yellow's base for now. A couple of those militia are obviously in low HP, but still lots of damage that they could do there. So both players advancing to the feudal age with a difference of about 30 seconds between them. That's explained by Whoop being on one higher villager. I think that Yellow will want to be maybe putting a little bit of wall here just to funnel those militia away from his wood line, but obviously he doesn't see them coming until now. That said, with them being on low HP, he could choose to fight it a little bit, but doesn't want to run that way with that militia. Sorry, that villager. She's in real danger of going down there, but turning back towards the TC just in time. Let's see the feudal age response from Yellow then. Transitioned pretty heavily onto gold whilst he was on his way up and doing archery ranges immediately with 3 villagers actually. Moving on to produce the second one, so we're going to see archers from 2 ranges pretty quickly from him. I'm going to guess that Whoop will be doing much the same thing, but he has the advantage of not having all of this interruption going on in his woodline. Is that 2 villagers that have just gone down there? No, it must have just been the one. Because obviously that was a militia, but I thought I saw one guy down there, but there's no body, so just the one on villager. But now this tower coming in on the wood line, which for now Yellow doesn't see, and the man at arms upgrade being done. One man at arms still having full HP pretty much, which is going to make it really powerful. Another one streaming in from across the map and nearly running into the TC, but turning back just in time. 2 ranges now done for Yellow. Not producing properly from both of them though. Also doing a blacksmith, so he'll be looking for that early fetching, but this is going to be an absolutely devastating tower from Whoop now, taking away all of this main wood line that Yellow has, and his other ones are pretty horrible, really exposed. Great aggressive play from Whoop now, taking advantage of the fact that Yellow kind of sacrificed his drush by just blundering into Whoop's own militia 2 times in a row. Quick look what's going on at home. Nothing for now, just a bit of a transition onto gold and onto stone as well, so he'll be able to drop more towers. 2 archery ranges forward plus a blacksmith. This is really aggressive from Whoop. Yellow's starting to feel a little bit safer at home and going to push out with a few archers. We'll see whether he lives to regret sending his military away when all of these men-at-arms are around. Almost feel as if they could just dive past the TC if they stuck really close to there, especially with some of the skirmishers in there to potentially draw the fire. Because if those men-at-arms did get to this gold mine, that would be so deadly. Seems those archers must have walked straight past a villager in the middle of the map, which is pretty amusing. I can't have missed it by much. Well, Whoop knows that those. Well, I don't know if he saw the archers leave, but he definitely hasn't seen them for a while, which will have him kind of sixth sense tingling, thinking that they could be about to show up in his base, trying to do a tower, but gonna be a bit too late, and at least 2 villagers are gonna go down at this point. Well, they would do. Well, yeah, 3 actually. Really nice for Yellow to interrupt all of that gold, because it means that these 2 forward ranges that Whoop has, he's not going to be able to be sustaining archer production from there, and not really going to be able to be a very aggressive forward now. Actually going to have to retreat home to deal with these archers, because just 4 archers with fletching is enough to just lay waste to Whoop's base unless he defends with towers everywhere. So that's why Whoop's sending those skirmishers home. Surprised he didn't leave the man-at-arms forward though, actually he's sending them back, and I'm surprised he hasn't skirted round to see what damage he can do here. Really nice tower from Yellow though, because it covers all 3 of those resources more or less. At least means that, for example, if something was to hit these stone miners, 2 of them at least will probably get away into the tower. Those few skirmishes will now drive Yellow's archers away. And finally, given that Whoop is back on gold, he will start to produce from these ranges again, or he would do if he wasn't now housed. Yellow getting in with another 4 archers in a different part of Whoop's base. Seems that that's going to be his strategy, to just keep peeling tiny groups of archers, 3 or 4 archers into different parts of the base, and then escaping once the damage has been done, or once the cops arrive, the skirmisher police. Kind of doesn't want to stand there taking this fight, but I guess his attention must be occupied elsewhere. Whoop's great aggressive play has kind of petered out a little bit now. He hasn't really been making much progress at all for a long time, not doing a lot of damage, and actually suffering at home a little bit more than Yellow is, I would say, by this point. Yellow has successfully transitioned his economy to other places. Still kind of exposed, could definitely do with another tower in this sort of area. Now we see the first real engagement between the two small massed up armies in Yellow's base that we have seen for a while. I think Yellow's going to take this pretty comfortably. He's got the greater numbers of archers there that he was massing in front of his base. And he's been gathering gold pretty much uninterrupted for the whole game, so he's much more able to mass up those archers than Whoop has been, considering the villagers that died and the amount of interruption that took place over here. Gonna take a look at resources now, see what the situation is like for both players. Yellow's slightly ahead in terms of food count, so he should be in position to get a slightly better castle age. It also has a few castle age time, also with a few more farms, and did have a tiny military advantage, especially in the fact that he had archers out rather than skirmishers, which would enable him to do more damage. But now it's roughly even between the two players. Just the one villager advantage for Yellow. So neither player in massively better position than the other, apart from the fact that Yellow is about 300 food ahead of Whoop in terms of going up to the castle age, getting that all-important crossbow upgrade, and maybe Celt Mangonel to help defend against the number of archers that are around. This is a pretty nice tower from Whoop that he was going to do, considering he was going to take away probably potentially 5 farms. And even Yellow places enough priority on stopping that tower that he's willing to try and power build one even under the fire of these archers in this tower, losing a number of villages in the process. Not entirely sure that was worth the losses, perhaps, considering that he now continues to idle another 5 villages and shooting down Whoop's tower as well as the 2 that he lost whilst he was building it. And these archers from Yellow getting caught out seemingly on stand ground as Whoop skirmishers moved in and started picking some of them off. And bizarrely, despite Yellow having had a 300 food lead a little while ago, Whoop actually getting up to the castle age 15 seconds before him, but only now getting horse collar, which is pretty damaging. We can look at these farms and see that they're going to be basically all on really low food. Like most of them are on like up to 50, which means that when Whoop does get to the castle age, he's going to have a problem on his hands because all of his farms are going to be running out at once. He's not going to be able to take advantage of being able to put down town centres and building a siege workshop and maybe a mangonel to defend if he felt like that was necessary. Really unfortunate for him to have missed horse collar. Can't overstate how much of a mess your economy can end up being in when all your farms run out at once later on. And Yellow is coming forward with a villager with all these archers that he has, so it feels like he might do siege workshop on this hill and then try and push in from uphill with a mangonel, try and do crossbow and mangonel offense. And that's going to be pretty good, considering that he will have the hill bonus, and obviously the Celt Mangonel's firing faster. Will be able to destroy buildings from uphill pretty quickly. Meanwhile, Whoop's still mining a lot of stone in the enemy base. Only 3 villages for now, but he's had those archers in that tower actually. So not a lot of military on the map for Whoop at this point. Actually, he's only got 8. 4 of those are archers which are in this tower and probably aren't moving anytime soon. Forward siege workshop for Whoop here, so we'll keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, the forward siege workshop and the stable from Yellow, as he gets crossbow and bodkin arrow. Just want to see if Whoop didn't get crossbow. He got bodkin for his towers, but he didn't bother to get crossbow considering the numbers that he has actually on the field. And those crossbows of Yellow have found a really nice spot now, delaying the wood gathering economy of Whoop, forcing another tower, and that's going to be really costly considering that he's also got this problem with all his farms now running out, as we're expecting to see happen. Good play from Yellow here, moving in on the farms as well, picking off another 2 villages really quickly, and this is looking like such a promising offensive that Yellow is staging on that hill now, with a mangonel, a couple of knights to run in and kill enemy mangonels, and the hill advantage, plus all the extra crossbows. I don't see how Whoop is going to have a good chance of defending against this, especially as he's chosen to build his siege workshop forward, yet his own attack is going to be so much weaker than Yellow's one, and Yellow does also have a siege workshop at home as well, so both offensive and defensive siege workshops for Yellow. We did actually manage to get that extra TC up with a market at the back here. I wonder if he's got so much gold in the bank, but I wonder if he's also been selling a little bit of stone, considering he's been mining it for a lot of the game, but he's only put up a few towers here, like 4 towers. This being his 5th actually. One for one on Mangonel Dodgeball back at Yellow's base. Meanwhile, there is a Mangonel out for Yellow over here, a second one in the workshop and 2 more queued up, so this is going to be 4 mangonels pushing off this hill, as well as 3 knights and all the crossbows here. This is looking so scary for Whoop. Obviously he doesn't quite realise the extent of it at this point, but this attack is just going to be huge when it hits. Doing a siege workshop at home now, but is it going to be too late? I mean, this tower and the siege workshop itself could be down before the first mangonel is produced, with 4 mangonels firing off the hill. And look at the power building of the siege workshop. But even if you get that siege workshop up, Mr. Whoop, getting 1 mangonel out versus 4, and you're downhill, I'm not buying it. Did produce 1 more up front, but that's not going to save him. And now we see that Whoop has just bought the remaining stone he needed to get a castle, because it's probably his only way of surviving here. I'm surprised Yellow isn't just moving forward and trying to take out more of these fields, but I think this is what we in LHD call a Tetrades castle. Except it's not even going to get to 99%, it's not even going to get to 50%. This is looking like the game with the huge attack that Whoop has prepared, that Yellow has prepared. Hitting Whoop with those 4 mangonels, and the castle was deleted, not destroyed, before anyone gets too hyped, but TCs are going to go down in absolutely no time now, and Whoop is within an inch of his life. This castle really going to do very little, because it will only save this stone mine. All the TCs are going to go down. These towers will still be vulnerable to being attacked more from this direction. I don't know what Whoop thinks he's going to do right now with that castle. Going to do a TC and then maybe try for a second castle, but really he just doesn't have the ability to come back in this game at all. Can't fault him for trying, but it might be time for a dose of realism. Meanwhile, Yellow just taking care of his economy back home, making sure that he's not ignoring his economy whilst carrying out his attack in case it backfires, but likelihood of that is slim. Getting in handcart as well. So you're going to be so far ahead of Whoop in terms of economy, as if the 60 non-idle villagers versus the 50 villagers building a castle wasn't already enough of an economic difference between the two of them. Admin resigned for Whoop. Yep, that's kind of how I'm feeling. But this should be the end, because Whoop doesn't have trying to rebuild this initial TC and take control of this farm, and actually that's pretty funny, but I don't think he'll get away with that for long. Even this one Mangonel that Whoop had forward, I think it's the forward one, I think he's brought it home. If he's like the world champion at Mangonel Dodgeball, then maybe, just maybe, but there are 5 knights here as well, so gonna build that second castle though. Just try and keep himself and establish something of a defensive perimeter. But like Yellow will have stopped producing units at this point. He's such a rich man. He'll probably just go up to Imperial Age, drop a castle here and start trebbing stuff, and if Whoop doesn't resign before then, that will surely be the end. Surprised Yellow is allowing Whoop to get away with that. He does know about it. But it seems he's going to go back home and deal with it and then just play for the Imperial Age. Almost certainly going to click now, I would have thought. Although he is lacking the buildings just yet. Only having a siege workshop and no university. Oh my. Did I hear a monastery? Yeah, actually no, he's just done a monastery, so there we go. Clicked up to the Imperial Age, and Whoop probably will resign when he sees that Imperial Age hit. For now he's doing another castle to try and maintain his little forward satellite economy, but I mean, you can't fault his efforts to try and reboom and recover some kind of safe economy in this game, but he's just too far behind. Yellow going for +2 armor for his knights on the way up, so maybe that is his play, to add in more knights to help finish off the game. But he is also doing that forward castle that he'll be able to use to start trebbing stuff, massing knights in his stable, taking down all of the stuff that we could build up in the top of his base here. And has continued to boom up pretty nicely as well, adding in lots more TCs onto 100 villages. I wonder if this Mangonel and knights in the stable can obviously take care of that, but I wonder if it's going to find the villagers and delay the castle. Come on, Whoop. You're not going back into this one. Yellow also taking control of Whoop's third gold, the town centre and the mining camp. But Whoop has at least got back onto a decent number of villages. He's reboomed pretty nicely onto 93 vills right now. So it's highly unlikely, but if Yellow was to mess around for the next 3 or 4 minutes and not push, then the possibility is that Whoop could suddenly find himself in a position where he can defend. But still, with Whoop having not yet clicked to the Imperial Age, and being on 100 food, the Yellow does have such a huge window to actually affect that push and to actually make it happen that it's so difficult to see. The chance is like 1%. Seeing players of this level squander that kind of advantage is very rare. And with Cavalier, with well, +2 Cavaliers, really gonna just absolutely make mincemeat of a few Castle Age Road Raiders from Whoop. He's not gonna be able to go and do the hero raid on the Trebs that he's hoping to do, I think. Yellow also collecting a decent number of relics at this point. Those Trebs may actually get taken out after all because Yellow's Cavaliers decided to go AFK at the moment that the Woads emerged for Whoop. But at this point they're all going to die. Of course the Trebs are a loss for Yellow, but he's such a rich man it just doesn't matter. He can just make more. The main thing stopping him from having so many more right now is the fact that he doesn't have the castles yet, but seems Yellow may not even be concerned too overly about that. He's just got to stream Cavaliers from all these stables and just completely destroy all of this nicely reboomed economy from Whoop. Wouldn't be surprised to see him diverting a few more up here as well, but of course would be under the fire of a castle then, and now TC, which he doesn't currently know about. And Paladin for Yellow, so rich, just gonna go for Celt Paladins in a 1v1 Celt war. That's a sign of the kind of difference in game states going on here. So Paladin about 60% done. Likewise Blast Furnace going to be kicking in shortly before that, so +4 attack for the soon to be Paladins. And Whoop has 10 military and he's about to be versus 40 Paladins, and he's in the Castle Age. Can't really say much else. And now Yellow is also starting to replace his Trebs. I am struggling to understand Whoop's kind of thought processes here and like how he feels he can come back into this game. I mean, he still has 0 food in the bank and no army, and he can see a massive ball of pikemen and Trebs. I don't understand it. He's actually trying to effect some kind of castle plus siege push in here now. Maybe that's his little play that he's been preparing, is to just push with castles and try and take out the economy of Yellow. But he's not going to stand for that. He's got Trebs, he's got Paladins, he's getting fuel Celtica. Looks like he's probably going to be preparing siege ram in there as well. They're actually doing heavy scorpion, so he's having some fun now. Cat ram as well. But Whoop's still not giving up, despite being 70 population and half the score, and about to be having his castles taken down by Paladins alone. It kind of gets hard to commentate on the game at this point when it's you're basically just waiting. There we go, GG. Probably 15 minutes overdue. I think achievements at this point. not really worth it because we can just see that Roop was a million miles behind. He's kind of collected less of everything. And lost a lot more of everything considering he was versus Paladins with Castle Age Road Raiders.